Do you ever walk into a room and you just get the sense of like, oh my God, I do not belong here? Or you get a job after an interview and like, after a few weeks, you're like, I really don't belong here. How the hell did I get this job? If they just knew what I'm really like, they'd fire me. Yeah, that's probably imposter syndrome. So today I'm going to talk about how imposter syndrome affects children of immigrants, because I feel we kind of tend to feel it a bit more because we're not really part of any world. So sometimes when I go to Egypt, I feel like a bit of an imposter, like I'm kind of cosplaying being an Egyptian. And then when I go back to Ireland, I feel like I'm not really Irish. So then I'm kind of feeling like, you know, I'm pretending to be one of them, but I'm not really. It's just a bit weird, but let's dive into it. So before I begin, my name is Dr. Sammy, and I'm an embryologist with 15 years of experience. And at the moment, I am a relationship and psychosexual psychotherapist in training. So I talk generally about a multitude of things: fertility, relationships, and kind of mental health issues children of immigrants face. Okay, so if you like any of that content, please hit the like and subscribe, because I'm really hoping to get to 500 subscribers soon. I don't really need to get to 500 subscribers. I don't think it really makes a difference, but I just like to have a number, you know, a goal in mind. So growing up as a children of immigrants, and I've done like a couple of videos about this, I'll pop them up here as I speak. But one of the amazing things that you do learn growing up straddling between two cultures is you learn to adapt really quickly. Like, we adapt at the drop of a hat. Put us in any situation, we'll adapt. Doesn't necessarily mean we like it or we like what we're adapting to, but we can adapt. We're very good at reading the room. We're very good at kind of highlighting certain parts to fit into a certain group of people, and then kind of softening other parts to fit into a different group of people. And for me personally, I always feel when I meet someone, I always like tend to kind of be very quiet and pull back at the beginning, because I need to assess who I'm dealing with. And then when I kind of figure out who they are, I'm like, okay, this person would get along well with me if I'm like this. And that's good for, like, you know, working in places where there's a lot of different people and all that kind of stuff. But in your personal life, it's a bit weird, because sometimes I'd be this person with this group of people and then a different person with a different group of people. And then when they meet, I'm like, oh my God, now I don't know who I am. And then I just kind of get really confused. And I've only started realizing that I do this recently. So now I'm kind of like, okay, I'm just going to be my own person, and whoever likes me, whoever doesn't, I can't please everyone. As Abraham Lincoln famously said, you can please some of the people all the time. You can please all the people some of the time, but you can't please all the people all the time. It's a really good quote. I love it. But being like a child of immigrants, like, I always feel I don't know which version of me is me. Like, it was something I really struggled with, especially during your teen years, because when you belong like to two places, you don't really belong to one place. So you feel like you belong to everywhere and nowhere at the same time. And when you're a teen, you already have identity issues, and you're just like, I don't know who I am. And part of the reason why I think I kind of clung on to my eating disorder for probably longer than I should have, that was the only part of me that was not dependent on like my religion or my race or my nationality or the language I spoke. It was just like, this is me, removed from everything else. So I'd prefer being, well, at the time, as a teen, I preferred being, oh, that's your anorexic one over there, or that's the bulimic one over there, rather than, oh, that's that one that's brown and speaks with an Irish accent, but she's Egyptian, but like she talks like us. That's just way too complicated. I would have preferred to be known as something that was outside of my, you know, culture and identity, just something that was me. Because I feel if you're like, you know, just say a British person or an English person growing up in England, you never have to deal with that. You're just like, oh, Jenny from Brighton, that's just you. You don't have to, like, you know, think about all these things, because you're not questioned about it every single day. So for me, I never knew which version of me was good enough. Like, I never knew how to present myself, and I could get into a bit of like race and Orientalism, but I think this video will just go on for too long if I do. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, when I pray or do zikr or Ramadan, I tried to explain it to my friends, especially like Ireland in the late 90s, early 90s. It wasn't as progressive as it was now. So people just didn't really like get it. So I kind of whitewashed the things that I was doing it to make it more palatable to people, and they'd understand it and accept me. So like, for instance, I'd say I meditate daily instead of I pray, or I do gratitude journaling instead of zikr, or I do intermittent fasting instead of Ramadan, because it was just more easily accepted and understood by mainstream society. And looking back, I wish I just kind of stuck to what it was. But like, you know, when you're a teen, you just want to fit in. You're not going to be like, you know, explaining a major religion to people in their teens. Like, nobody cares. They don't. Not that age anyway. So one way which I really feel imposter syndrome comes out as a child of an immigrant is work. Oh my God. So I worked in Ireland, I worked in London, I worked in Egypt, but I probably can hands down say when I work in Ireland or London, I'd be more willing to take like shitty shifts, or, you know, do like stay after hours or come in early. And part of the reason is like, I know how people will react if I'm like an immigrant and I don't do my job properly. Like, people, when they see me on the streets, like, I know how people think. They don't think, oh, there she is. No, they're like, look at her coming in and taking all of her jobs. So a lot of people have that narrative at the back of their head. So if I'm taking one of their jobs and I'm doing a shitty job, oh my God, they'd fucking hate me. They'd be like, oh, she's taking her jobs and she like messed it up. So I like put so much pressure on myself to try not to mess up, and if I do mess up, I feel like I'm going to kill myself. I get such bad anxiety, and I never got that in Egypt, because if I messed up, it's just like a normal mess up. But like, if you mess up in someone else's country where people look at you like you're stealing your jobs, it's just a whole other ball game. So I'm going to quote something that Albert Einstein said, and I think a lot of immigrants will really resonate with this quote. So he basically said, I'll put the quote on screen here as I read it out loud. If my theory of relativity is proved correct, Germany will claim me as a German, and France will declare I am a citizen of the world. If my theory is proven wrong, France will say I'm a German, and Germany will declare I am a Jew, which is basically what happened. So just say I did something, like I had a big achievement. What's a big achievement? Just say I won an Oscar. Not going to happen. I don't act. Ireland would be like, oh my God, Irish actor wins an Oscar. She's amazing. You know what I mean? And then like everyone will be celebrating me. But then just say I did something bad, like stole money, robbed a bank. Just say I robbed a bank. They wouldn't say, oh, Irish person robbed a bank. They'd be like, Egyptian, Saudi-born, immigrant robbed a bank. Do you know what I mean? So because as children of immigrants, we kind of have this sense that our, I don't want to say love, that's not what it means. Our sense of identity is conditional. It really like, you know, messes with your head sometimes, because you don't believe you're a real person unless you're successful, if that makes sense. Because like, so you just feel like your identity becomes conditional. You're only celebrated if you're successful, but if you're a failure, you'll just be like, you know, displaced into the other. Do you get what I mean? So I do feel being a child of immigrant parents and kind of straddling two cultures has led to kind of having my sense of belonging being based on performance. So that's kind of interesting. And I'd be super interested to see if other people feel the same way, or is just me, like maybe I'm the only person who feels like this. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like taking it a bit too seriously. So yeah, let me know. And that's just like me yapping on YouTube. And I'll see you again soon. Okay, bye.